The AI handles the routine. Humans deliver the remarkable. It is how we see the future of the healthcare. So the real power of the AI is enhancing human expertise. It is all about coordinated teamwork, not solo automation. And when tech and compassion works together, the patient wins.
This year, over 65% of biopharma leaders reported AI already influencing live decision making in their organization.
AI is becoming the electricity of the business, which is the ubiquitous, invisible, and unstoppable. Either AI keeps minting extraordinary shareholder value or the bubble pops. Either way, it is the headline story for the next few years.
From your vantage point, what's real and happening today, and what's still hype or wishful thinking?
A great question, Kaushik. First, in terms of what real, I believe the impact of the AI on drug discovery is tangible and happening today. Take for an example, in silico, rentosertib is a great example. AI identified disease targets and designed molecules. The drug is now in phase 2A of the clinical trial. That's not the theory, that's the impact.
My question to you, Mohammed, is what do we need to do as an industry to rebuild trust and help society see AI as an augmentation, not replacement?
It is a common fear that AI will basically replace the job, but that is not the reality. Okay, it is not here to replace clinicians. It is here to amplify them. Even in the data-heavy fields like radiology, full replacement is not happening. When AI does is streamline diagnostics, assisted with treatment planning, and handle documentation, so clinicians can focus on only what humans can deliver: empathy, judgment, and care.
What mature AI adoption in life sciences really looks like, where the value is emerging beyond hype cycles, cultural and leadership shifts required inside healthcare, myths, fears, and the narratives we need to retire, and the future, not science fiction, but the system's reality. Hut, welcome to Drug Diaries. Before we jump into today's episode, I just want to say something from the heart. Over 93% of the people who watch this podcast regularly haven't subscribed. And listen, I get it. Life is busy. You click, you watch, you move on. But if you've ever felt like this show brings you value, if it has made you think, sparked a new idea, introduced you to something inspiring, then I have a small favor to ask. Please hit that subscribe button. It might not seem like much, but to me, it means everything. This podcast has always been a labor of love. No sponsors, no script, just honest conversations with people trying to make a difference in the world of healthcare. And your support, your one click, helps me keep doing that. It helps more people discover these voices. It helps this community grow. So if you're here, if you believe in this, please consider subscribing. Thank you for being here. Now let's get into the episode. In the last 18 months, something subtle but profound happened in healthcare. Not the headline grabbing moments, not the AI wrote my essay hype, not the fear campaigns. Behind the scenes, AI crossed a threshold most people never noticed. It stopped being a science experiment and quietly became infrastructure. This year, over 65% of biopharma leaders reported AI already influencing live decision making in their organization. Not pilots, not prototypes, but real workflows. Large health systems are now using AI to predict patient deterioration hours before doctors can. Drug discovery timelines have compressed by up to 70% in certain therapeutic areas. And more healthcare data is being generated per patient per month today than per decade just 3 years ago. This isn't disruption. I think it's recalibration of how the healthcare system thinks, decides, and acts. Yet, amid this acceleration, two truths coexist. One, most people still talk about AI like it's a future event. And two, most of the value being created right now is invisible to the public. So today, we are not here to debate whether AI will change healthcare. It already has. We are here to unpack how it's helping, how it's happening, where it's real, what still needs to mature, and how leaders inside the system are navigating the uncertainty, the scale, and the responsibility. And to guide us through this conversation, we have someone who sees this reality not from the sideline, but from the command center. Mohammed, Chief Commercial Officer for the Americas at Cognizant, a global leader helping pharma, biotech, payers, providers deploy AI responsibly, at scale, and in production. He has been inside boardrooms where companies make the decision not should we do AI, but how do we operationalize it across an enterprise without breaking the system the people or the trust? Today, we'll talk about what mature AI adoption in life sciences really looks like, where the value is emerging beyond hype cycles, cultural and leadership shifts required inside healthcare, myths, fears, and the narratives we need to retire, and the future, not science fiction, but the system's reality. Huck, welcome to Drug Diaries.
No, thank you, Kaushik, for hosting this conversation and having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to join the podcast today. And as you have talked about the impact of the AI, the timing cannot be better than this. As the Chief Commercial Officer and Business Unit Head for Life Sciences for Cognizant, I lead our global life sciences business with over 3 decades of experience in the IT services industry, including various leadership roles at Wipro, PwC, GE, and Genpact. I have gained a broad perspective on how technology can transform healthcare and the life sciences. I have really witnessed how AI can do far more than efficiency. It drives growth and it sparks real change in our industry. And I'm looking forward to discussing with you today. Once again, it is again a pleasure to be here, and let's dive into the future of the AI.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Huck. That's such a brilliant and inspiring career trajectory. You've seen it all. So I'm really excited and looking forward to our conversation today. And what I find fascinating, Mohammed, is over the last 18 months, we have seen something shift, not in demos or headlines, but in production systems. AI quietly moved from innovation theater into the real machinery of healthcare, decision support, patient stratification, supply chain planning, or medical content workflows. Yet, if you ask most people, they still frame AI as this futuristic event. The truth is, we are already living in this before and after. And the gap between perception and reality is where most misunderstanding lives. So, Mohammed, what do you think the world still misunderstands about the real state of AI in healthcare and science today?
Gosh, a great question. Most people still think AI is just about cutting cost, but I have a different perspective. I really feel AI is a growth engine because it frees up talent, accelerates innovation, and transforms how works get done. AI is not replacing humans, it is amplifying them. And just to give an example, by shifting 50% of the tasks to the AI, it really unlock human creativity and strategic focus. So we are not just reducing costs, we are creating more capacity for relationship building that drives growth. Let's look at some real world examples. For Nordics, use AI modeling to shorten peptide design cycle by 70%, accelerating their new molecule pipeline. In silico medicine, brought an AI discovered drug from concept to human trial in just 18 months compared to the industry average of the 5 years. Take for example Pfizer AI guided vaccine R&D enabled a COVID variant response in weeks instead of months. That is not just efficiency, it's velocity. It is a growth that redefining what time to market even means across the industries. The AI is moving us from hindsight to foresight. And I'll just wrap up with that. The real question is not how can AI save us money? It is what we can do now that we could not do before.
Wow, very well said. And all those examples are so relevant and so pertinent for this conversation. And there was a point last year when AI panic was almost a social currency. AI will take all the jobs, AI will replace doctors, AI will end creativity. Yet when you talk to real operators inside pharma and health systems, they say something different. We are not replacing people. We are trying to give them superpower. I think fear often fills the space between understanding and the reality. So, my question to you, Mohammed, is what do we need to do as an industry to rebuild trust and help society see AI as an augmentation, not replacement?
This is a great question, Kaushik. Okay, and just to basically give an example as well, it is a common fear that AI will basically replace the job, but that is not the reality. Okay, it's not here to replace clinicians. It is here to amplify them. Okay. Even in the data heavy fields like radiology, full replacement is not happening. When AI does is streamline diagnostics, assisted treatment planning, and handle documentation. So clinicians can focus on only what humans can deliver: empathy, judgment, and care. The AI handles the routine, humans deliver the remarkable. It is how we see the future of the healthcare. So the real power of the AI is enhancing human expertise. It is all about coordinated teamwork, not solo automation. And when tech and compassion works together, the patient wins.
Very well put. I really love that answer. And do you remember the moment when you first realized AI could fundamentally change how life sciences companies operate? And what was it?
Absolutely. For me, it was AlphaFold. So when DeepMind cracked the protein folding and earned a Nobel Prize in chemistry, a problem that has stumped the scientists for over 50 years, it was like watching the future arrive early. And that was not just a tech win, it was a scientific leap. AI did not just predict proteins, it unlocked biology blueprint. And when AlphaFold models when open source, it gave researchers everywhere the tools to accelerate the drug discovery. And that is why, where, when the hype met reality. So the real power of the AI lies in democratizing intelligence. AlphaFold did exactly that, turning allied science into accessible innovation. It was the moment AI stopped being theoretical and start reshaping how we build therapies faster and smarter. And Kaushik, from that point on, it was clear AI is not just supporting life sciences, it is redefining them.
Yeah, true. I think AlphaFold was a major breakthrough that we've seen. It's going to revolutionize everything from now on. And Umar, everyone says AI will revolutionize healthcare, but from your vantage point, what's real and happening today, and what's still hype or wishful thinking?
A great question, Kaushik. First, in terms of what real, I believe the impact of the AI on drug discovery is tangible and happening today. Take for an example, in silico, rentosertib is a great example. AI identified disease targets and designed molecules. The drug is now in phase 2A of the clinical trials. That's not the theory, that's the impact. But let's be clear, AI does not replace labs or human expertise, it accelerates them. AI is the engine, humans are still at the wheel. And the real revolution is speed. The clinical trials are now 6 to 12 months faster. Around 80% of the biotech startups use AI for patient recruitment and protocol design. That's the meaningful efficiency. What is hype? Are we there for the fully autonomous labs? We are not there yet. AI can suggest, simulate, and streamline, but it still needs human validation. In summary, I will say the AI role is to augment, not automate. That's the reality today. The promise is huge, but the magic happens when the AI and the human insights work together.
And these days, every day I wake up and I see some new announcement about AI and some new advancements that are surfacing. And every day you wake up to a new reality. So, Mohammed, how do you personally separate signal from noise when every day brings new announcement?
Kaushik is very true. There's a flood of AI announcements in healthcare and life sciences and across other industries. And separating meaningful advances from the hype is critical. Okay. But however, the AI must serve the purpose, not just the promise. And it is how I stay grounded. Okay. And I will tell you, I use a very simple 6 step filter process to cut through the hype. Okay. Number one, I start with the outcomes. If it does not move the needle on drug discovery, clinical trials, or patient safety, it's noise. For example, one of our GenAI agents has helped a top 10 pharmaceutical company to cut the adverse event reporting time by 60%. So if there's no measurable impact, it's just hype. So let's start with the outcomes. Second move on insist on the real world proof. Has it been tested in the real world in the clinical settings? Regulatory submission, if it is not, it is still in the lab. The third is human in the loop. The best AI augments people, not replaces them. Our most successful implementation, like AI driven protocol authoring, always kept humans in the loop for critical decision. Fourth step is scalability. Is the solution scalable or repeatable? Or it is just a flashy one-off pilot. The real impact requires the ability to scale. Fifth, looks for the explainability. If you can't explain how it works, you can't trust it. And last but not the least, the strategic fit. Finally, I map every solution to Cognizant 3 AI vector strategy, which I will go more in depth about this later, which is hyperproductivity as a vector one, vector two as industrializing AI, and vector three is identifying the enterprise. So if it is aligned, it is not just cool, it's core. So the bottom line, if an AI solution does not deliver real outcomes in the lab or clinic, it's just noise. And I run every new development through this 6-step filters: outcomes, validation, empowerment, scalability, transparency, and strategic fit, to separate what truly transformation from what is merely hype. Across the industries, from financial services to the life sciences, the winners won't be chasing every shiny object. They will be the ones who will ask, does this make us faster, smarter, and more human? If the answer is yes, that's the signal.
That's a very pragmatic 6 step framework that you just outlined. And I would like to use that in my day to day life to distinguish between the noise and the real impact or the changes that we are seeing. So, Mohammed, another question is that Cognizant works at the heart of pharma, biotech, and healthcare. If you had to explain to a layperson, where is AI actually saving time, money, and lives today?
Absolutely. As I basically mentioned, AI is already making a tangible difference across the life sciences value chain, from drug discovery to manufacturing and regulatory compliance. As I mentioned to you about the Cognizant 3 vector strategy on the AI, let me break it down simply using the Cognizant 3 vector approach. Vector 1, what we are calling as hyperproductivity, which means AI is taking over the repetitive stuff so human can focus on what matters. For an example, we helped a global medtech firm boost software productivity by 30% using GenAI code companions. Another example, in biopharma, clinical report generation time dropped by 80%. These improvements translate to faster clinical trials, quick regulatory submissions, and more time for innovation. Vector 2, what we call as industrializing AI. This is about embedding AI directly into the enterprise core scientific and operational workflows, transforming how works get done at a scale. Our newer AI platform with large pharma companies automates everything from data curation to regulatory docs. In manufacturing, AI-powered digital twins reduce errors and optimize supply chains, getting safe therapies to patient faster. And the third vector, which we call as identifying the enterprise. This is the next frontier, where the AI agents collaborates with human to handle complex cross-functional tasks. The future is AI agents working alongside the humans. And these agents handle complex tasks, freeing up the experts to focus on care, compliance, and creativity. In short, Cognizant 3 vector AI strategy, hyperproductivity, industrializing AI, and identifying the enterprise is already delivering measurable impact across the life sciences value chain. And I can say AI is not just a tool, it is a teammate and is playing across the pharma, biotech, and the healthcare. And the bottom line is that AI is already saving time, enhancing productivity, and improving life. And we are just getting started. Okay. And the future of the impact is huge.
Right. And have you come across any instances where you deployed all 3 vectors in a particular case or for a particular client?
Right now, I will basically characterize the 3 vectors. In the last 12 months, 70% of the work has been basically done around the vector 1.
Hmm.
And 30% of the work is done around the vector 2 and vector 3. But I tell you, the real opportunity is on the vector 2 and the vector 3. As the industry will basically mature, you'll see in the next 3 years, the vector 2 and vector 3 will take over the vector 1 as well. That is how I will basically say. Okay. And today we are basically merging both the IT and the business process together as well. And that's where I basically see identifying the enterprise has the maximum opportunity in the industry.
And if you look at agentic AI, I think that's one stream where we hear a lot of updates that this new technology is going to take care of a series of activities that are currently being performed by humans, and they can almost combine all these activities and roll out seamlessly. So, if we look at the maturity of these sort of technologies, where do you rate uh, on a scale of 1 to 10?
So I say it is basically still evolving. Okay, every day we are seeing a change in the marketplace as well. Right now, I am basically not an expert, but I'll basically see these technologies are basically around close to 5 to 6. Okay, at this point of time. But the amount of the research which is basically happening, I can see the impact is going to be the huge across the industries, whether it is financial services, whether it is healthcare, whether it is life sciences as well. And see, at least in my 3 decades, I have basically seen the three levels of the innovations, the internet era, the cloud, and the digital era. I think this is the most defining moment.
You're definitely at an inflection point right now. Uh, Mohammed, I hear about all the partnerships that you've recently, as Cognizant, gotten into. For instance, you've partnered with NVIDIA, Microsoft, and others. What did these partnerships unlock that Cognizant couldn't do alone? And why do you think a partnership ecosystem is essential to deliver excellence when it comes to AI?
Kaushik, I am a very strong believer of an ecosystem of partnerships because I strongly feel you cannot do everything alone. I strongly feel these partnerships are game changers. Alone, we are strong. Together, we are exponential. And these partnerships are not just about tech, they're about trust, scale, and speed. And AI's full potential is unlocked through the ecosystem collaboration. And these collaborations has unlocked access to scalable infrastructure, advanced algorithms, and global expertise that would be difficult to replicate on our own. And just to give an example, with NVIDIA, we are tapping into their BioNemo platform to accelerate the AI driven drug discovery. With Microsoft, we have co built an AI agent playbook tailored for life sciences, helping clients deploy agents that streamline complex workflows. We have launched healthcare LLMs on Google Cloud using Vortex AI and Gemini to reimagine admin processes and improve patient provider experience. From infrastructure to IP, these alliances let us go beyond. They help us build, scale, and deliver AI that's not just smart, but transformative. Ultimately, these partnerships allow us to build capabilities that span from advisory and context engineering to joint intellectual property, helping us support our clients' journey in deploying AI at a scale and delivering measurable value across the healthcare and the life sciences ecosystem.
And Mohammed, I recently had a chance to go through one of the research papers published by your team on how open people are to using AI in healthcare. Were you surprised by what you learned about patient trust and consumer behavior from that publication?
Honestly, Kaushik, but in a good way. Okay. And what I mean, people are more open to AI than we expected, especially when it is framed as an enabler, not a replacement. Trust grows when AI empowers, not replaces the team. That's a principle is showed up clearly in our research. How we can amplify the human. And from my vantage point, patients and professionals respond positively when AI delivers real benefits, faster diagnosis, better care coordination, fewer administrative headaches. If people understand how AI works and why it helps, they lean in. And that's why we invest heavily in change management in Cognizant. Programs like vibe coding and reskilling initiatives are not just about tech, they're about mindset. They help our teams embrace AI, not fear it. In summary, across the industries, we have seen the same pattern. When AI is introduced with empathy, clarity, and purpose, adoption follows. And I'll say the future is not AI versus humans, it is AI with humans.
Hmm, very well put. And we've gone from rule-based automation to generative models and now to agentic system, software that doesn't just answer but acts. And that leap changes everything. Governance, workflow design, accountability, value measurement. And we are essentially teaching enterprises to think in AI verbs, not just AI outputs. How do you see agentic AI reshaping pharma and healthcare operations in the next 12 to 24 months?
See, if I basically see from the pharma perspective in the next 12 to 24 months, the opportunity is huge across the life sciences value chain. Whether you basically talk about the R&D, whether you talk about the streamlining the manufacturing and supply chain, or whether you basically talk about the commercials, how you should basically connect with the SCPs and the patients as well. The opportunity is huge across the entire life sciences value chain. Two of the areas where I have seen which are leading the charge. One is clinical trials and smart manufacturing. In clinical trials, We are seeing AI is cutting time to launch by 6 to 12 months. Okay, how? Through automated protocol authoring, smarter site selection, and faster patient recruitment. That's real ROI. Less time, lower cost, better outcomes, and how you can basically bring drug much faster to the market as well. And most of the pharmaceutical companies right now are focusing on developing the drug pipeline, as you basically see with all this. In manufacturing, AI is driving predictive quality and deviation analysis. And all these tools are GMP validated. They are not just fast, they are compliant and reliable. And the result is a more agile, ready industry. Life sciences, I am seeing the AI has moved from pilot to platform, from promise to performance. And that is where the board has started paying the attention as well. So I see a huge impact to this particular industry, and this industry can really basically introduce drug much faster and introduce new therapies and ultimately improving the lives, which is all we are looking for.
And there is so much benefit in embracing technology and being able to adapt the business processes to advance to this new transformation trajectory. And what's the single biggest barrier to adoption? Is it technology, regulation, or simply people not wanting to let go of the old ways of working?
Coach, I'll say it is not the technology, it is not the rules, it is the mindset. And in my 3 decades of the experience, I have seen the hardest code to crack is the human behavior. Okay. Scaling AI is not just upon deploying models or algorithms or building up the infrastructure. It is all about shifting the culture.
Yes.
And at Cognizant, we have tackled this head on. We have an initiative called BlueBolt. Okay. And let me tell you a little bit about a BlueBolt. It is more than a platform. It is a grassroots level innovation. Then, almost 2 months back, there was a vibe coding event, which is led by our CEO. We brought together 53,000 associates across the company and built 30,000 working prototypes. And I can also basically tell you almost 60 to 70% of those prototypes has been developed by the people who has never done the coding in their life. Okay. Yes. And it is all people coming from HR, people coming from finance, people coming from legal. It was not just a training, it was a world record. And that's the proof when you empower people and create the right environment, innovation follows at unprecedented scale. And across the industries, the pattern is clear. AI adoption accelerates when people feel included, inspired, and equipped. The tech is ready. The question that we need to ask, are we ready for this adoption?
And that must have involved a massive training exercise for the internal staff to be able to come up with those ideas and to see the real potential of AI and to be able to apply that knowledge of AI in the real world situation and scenario, I reckon.
No, it was a huge event and it was a world Guinness World of the Book record that this
Right.
event has been basically registered as well, where the vibe coding, the different tools has been basically accepted as well. Okay. And that was a huge success across the organization.
It's really inspiring. And talking about the commercial strategy and industry trends, in biopharma, money often flows where ROI is clear. From your perspective, which AI use cases are becoming boardroom ready first?
As I basically told you, we have a lot of use cases across the life sciences value chain. And as I previously basically told you, two of the areas which are getting a lot of prominent, one is the clinical trials and the second is the smart manufacturing. Clinical trials across the value chain, it is impacting the time to frame launch by 6 to 12 months as well, which is all focusing on less time, lower cost, and the better outcomes. In manufacturing, AI is driving predictive quality and deviation analysis, and all these tools are GMP validated, which means they're compliant and reliable, and the result a more agile, innovation ready industry. The AI earns a seat at the boardroom when it delivers speed, scale, and certainty, and is exactly what these use cases do. So when AI moves from pilot to platform, from promise to performance, that's where the board starts paying attention there.
Right. So one is your observation and your perception of where AI has the most potential to bring in transformation. And second is that the client's perception. So how's the demand for AI showing up in deal trends or client conversations and risk appetite?
Kaushik, I'll tell you. in the last 12 to 24 means we are seeing a clear shift. Clients are not just curious, they're completely committed. And now clients want outcome based contracts, not the experiments. Now, proof of value is the new currency. The AI is not a pilot anymore, it is the pillar, and it is showing up in all the senior level CXOs conversations right now. Take a recent pharma deal that we have done. AI was not an add on, it was the core. Milestone focus on measurable productivity and efficiency. By embedding AI into the contract, both sides aligned on impact, not the intention. At the same time, risk appetite is growing, but it is a smart risk. Client want validated, compliance solutions that scale, especially in the areas like workflow automation and agentification. They're ready to invest where AI delivers enterprise grade results,
Mm.
not a pilot anymore. So the conversation has shifted in the last 12 months from can AI help to how fast we scale it. So that's the change and a shift we have basically seen in the last 12 to 24 months with our clients.
And that's a major shift because from the traditional viewpoint of starting small, starting slow, looking for some proof of concept and evidence of success, and then scaling up to now bolder decisions and going all out is a major shift and transformation, I would say.
The market is going to be very, very exciting for the next 3 years, I can tell you.
And Mohammed, talking about culture and leadership, a lot of AI conversations are about technology, but what about the culture shift required inside big pharma or providers?
I think Kaushik, that's a very good question. As you see, like culture is strategy or technology for breakfast. That is a saying.
Yes.
And you can have the best tools, but without the right mindset, AI won't scale. And if you have seen the recent MIT study, which has found that 90 to 95% of the AI projects fail, not because of technology, but because of culture. The AI thrives where curiosity lives. And that is why we focus on building a culture of experimentation to reality. And at Cognizant, we made that real. As I basically mentioned to you, our Gen AI hackathon brought together 53,000 participants, setting a Guinness World of Book record. But more importantly, it sparked thousands of ideas and prototypes. And then came vibe coding. That was just a training, but a movement. 53,000 associates built 30,000 working prototypes. It was about democratizing innovation and building AI fluency across the organization. In summary, when the leaders back experimentation, teams feel safe, they want to explore, fail, learn, and grow. And that is the culture shift AI needs, not just in pharma, but across the industries.
Very well said. And as a leader, Mohammed, do you create an environment where teams feel confident enough to experiment with AI, but also safe enough to acknowledge its risks?
Kaushik, for me, the first and the most fundamental belief it start with trust. Okay. The team needs to know that AI is here to augment and not replace them. When people feel supported, they lean into innovation even when it is risky. The innovation thrives where safety and ambition coexist. That is a principle our CEO Ravi Kumar lives by, and it is how we lead at Cognizant.
So, Mohammed, if we are sitting here 2 years from now, what's the most exciting AI breakthrough in life sciences you think we'll be talking about?
So, Kaushik, that's a very interesting question. Okay. And I believe we will be talking about something bold and AI designed therapeutic, built from scratch, validated clinically, and ready for trials with minimal reliance on wet labs or animal testing. So, AI won't just accelerate discovery, it will invent it. Okay. That's the paradigm shift CEO often points to. And when I'm basically saying this, we're already close. If you see in silico pulmonary fibrosis drug
Mm.
and recursion brain lesion treatment are already in phase 2 trials, both AI generated but showing safety in humans. That's not the hype. That is the history in making. So this kind of breakthrough means faster timelines, more precision, new hope for patients with unmet needs. It is not just about speeding up the drug pipeline. It is about expanding what's possible. This signals a new era in life sciences where the boundaries of invention are dramatically expanded by the capabilities of the artificial intelligence. So in summary, in 2 years, we won't just be asking how fast Can AI help? We will be asking, what can AI create that we never imagined?
That's profound. That's very well put. And before we wrap up our today's conversation, and although you have already touched upon this quite a few times in this conversation, but on a personal level, what excites you most about AI's potential and what keeps you up at night?
Kaushik, let me say what excites me. The possibility that AI can democratize access to healthcare, accelerate cures, and unlock human potential at scale. That's what excites me the most. We are entering an era where AI could help design therapies, predict outbreaks, and personal care all faster than ever before. The AI is not just a tool, it is a chance to reimagine what possible. That's the perspective I deeply resonate with. What keeps me up in the night? It is the human side. It is the bias in data, misuse of algorithms, the risks of leaving people behind, especially if we don't invest in education, ethics, and inclusion. And as I basically mentioned to you at Cognizant, we are tackling this head on. We're not just building tech, we are building trust. Because the future of the AI is not just about what it can do, it is about who it serves. The promise is massive, but so is the responsibility.
Wow, that was amazing and profound answer and a very powerful conversation. I got to learn so much from our
And I was telling you, Kaushik, another thing what I basically was reading, somebody basically said that AI is becoming the electricity of the business, okay, which is the ubiquitous, invisible, and unstoppable. The either AI keeps minting extraordinary shareholder value or the bubble pops. Either way, it is the headline story for the next few years.
Yeah, very exciting space to watch. I don't know what future holds for all of us.
I am very excited about the future because this is a technology that I have basically seen in the last 3 decades, which can really transform the industries.
And that brings us to the end of our today's conversation, Mohammed. Thank you so much. I think conversations like this remind me that the real story of AI in healthcare isn't about algorithms, it's about people. People who still wake up every day driven by the belief that science, data, and technology can make life better for patients, and that innovation and empathy don't compete, they complete each other. We are living through a moment where the loudest voices are often the most dramatic. AI will save everything or AI will destroy everything. But the truth, the one you helped us surface today, lives in the middle. AI isn't here to replace the human heartbeat in healthcare, it's here to amplify it. So, thank you so much for sharing your perspective today, Mohammed. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. And I know our audience will walk away not just with more information, but more prepared, more curious, and more hopeful. It's been a real privilege having you on Drug Diaries today. Thank you so much for your time and your perspective and your leadership and all the work that you're doing.
No, Kaushik, thank you. The pleasure is mine. And thanks for inviting me for this wonderful conversation. And thank you once again. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. You have a nice day too.
Thank you.